What's up, everyone? Coach KG here. And before we jump into this episode, just want to let you know we are 2 short weeks away from an incredible challenge. This is our fall challenge. And honestly, every single time we do a specific challenge, it's amazing because we're able to get you locked in, get you feeling your absolute best, and just get you the results that you're finally striving for, especially with the criteria we have set. It's set up for sustainability and long-term success, right? We're going to have weekly live calls, daily challenge criteria, weekly challenge, and also a guaranteed prize upon completion. So we can't wait to help you and have you take part. I promise you, you're not going to want to be on the sidelines for this. All you have to do is message us with the keyword fall challenge to Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit, and we can't wait to help you get your guaranteed results.
And never before did we do this guaranteed prize, like Kyle said. And you can see we're previewing these shirts. These shirts will only be available. The only way to get them, aside from us using them right now, just to get everyone excited, is to complete the challenge. So if you get this shirt, it's because you've earned it. It's because at the end of September, you can say you're a better, leaner, healthier version of yourself. And it's just going to be so much fun. So you got the guaranteed prize, and there's thousands of dollars for our top 2 transformations as well. So there's not ever been a better time to jump in for our coaching. Once again, do not miss out on this. 2 weeks away, secure a spot. DM us fall challenge to our Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the episode to get you absolutely fired up. So as always, I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm fired up.
And this is Motivation Monday. So sit back, relax, get some motivation, and let's all grow together. And the way we like to kick off this episode is by answering one of your questions, our primary question out of the mailbag. And that is, how can I finally lock into my diet and make it stick? I always do okay for a bit, then usually one bad night or event blows it up.
So it's a great question because honestly, I feel like a lot of people are in this specific scenario. And you can even just think of some of the times that it's happened to you. But I see a lot of people like Monday to Thursday doing really well, and then Friday to Sunday just going off the deep end. And there's a lot of things we can fix here, but you're never going to fix something without actually sitting down and like reflecting on what's going on, right? It's easy to say, hey, follow flexible dieting, you should meal prep, like you should do all these things. And they are all great tips, but a lot of times, like you just have to sit down and be like, what is actually going on? Like, what's causing this? What's my mindset like? Because when it comes down to it, a lot of people just they end up having an all or nothing mindset, and without realizing it, that like one trigger food or that one thing where they're overboard on their calories, they start to think, well, I've already gone over, like, what's another day? What's another few days, right? So a lot of it is going to come down to that mental battle that you're having inside your head. And I've had to face this myself personally because I remember it would be like years ago before I was introduced to flexible dieting, and when I would like follow a meal plan that was like just kind of too healthy, whereas like there was like no room for error. I remember I would just like have like one bad day where I would go overboard if someone brought like little Timbits to like the workplace that I had, which would be like 70 calories a Timbit. You have 10 of them, that's 700 calories. Like it was a bad event that would take place. And then I would have to catch myself and just keep telling myself, you know what? Learn from that mistake. Don't do it again. Let's jump right back on board. And that's going to be like my overall biggest tip is like when you have something take place, whether it's a bad day, a bad weekend, a bad special event or that you're not happy with, like reflect on it. Make sure not to make that mistake again and try to come up with a game plan for the future. But then also like just get back to it. Like don't spend time overthinking. Don't spend time trying to do endless cardio. Like even recently I heard someone say, oh, I had a bad day. Like I'm going to be suffering on the treadmill tomorrow. And then it's just a bad association with food, with movement. And you just want to avoid doing this. So that's going to be my biggest takeaway. But I'm sure Josh has a lot more tangibles as well.
Yeah, so it's definitely a complex question because for a lot of people, starting isn't hard. Everyone's done a diet and lost a couple pounds, but it is really hard to really make that stick and to really accept that new identity as like a fit person who's lost that fat and is keeping that fat off. And the biggest thing above all else to me is like having a appropriate mindset towards it. Because if you have a mindset that a diet's temporary, you're doing it, and then once you go on your vacation, that's the end of that. You're already setting yourself up for failure because it's like this intensive and then you blow back up and then you'll rinse and repeat it again. Instead, if you see it not as a diet, but just as you aiming to have a better balance of nutrition, to take your nutrition and health seriously and to fuel yourself with the best food, if you can reframe that mindset and like proactively work towards it and really make it part of your life as opposed to something that's an addition to your life. Because most often people say, I'm dieting, they'll go buy all these healthy meals, they'll start doing better, they'll restrict everything they enjoy, and they'll lose a lot of weight. They'll do that for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. But then eventually something will come up. They'll be traveling one day and they won't have access to those meals. They'll be out of town, they'll go to a restaurant with friends, and usually they'll let loose. And then usually when they let loose, it just becomes this crazy spiral where you undo a lot of progress. And then you get in this weird sticky spot where you say, I need to get back to it. And getting back to it isn't really a sustainable metric for you. And even with our challenge, that's why we've really designed it to say, hey, like, we're aiming to help equip you to show you how you can eat healthier, still have balance, still enjoy your favorite foods, and also have the ability to be able to eat a really, truth be told, not healthy meal. Like if you're really wanting to have a burger and fries, there's a way to do that, a healthier, more appropriate way to actually do that and not have that affect your gains or a very minimal effect to your gains. And a lot of that just comes down to balance. And that's the difference between being restrictive and incorporating it in your life. So the more you can incorporate it and find reason, the better it will be. Additionally, I think planning for these events and really limiting the craziness of them. Like if one night you hit your calories and you're out and someone offers you, like for this analogy, let's say a Danish, there's this famous Danish place and they got your favorite Danish and you've already hit your calories and you really want to have it. Like maybe you have it, and what is that? Maybe 200 to 500 calories, depending on how it's made. That will hinder your progress ever so slightly, but it'll be minuscule than if you eat that Danish, you're like, so good, give me 2 more Danishes. And then you're at 1,500 calories and you're like, it's already blown. Do you want to go get some drinks? Do you want to go do this, that? And then the next day you sleep in and have a big breakfast because you're off your diet. You're going to get back to it. Like you can see how that mindset, that all or nothing mindset is so dangerous. So the more you can remove it, and even if you're just like, hey, I'm okay psychologically having this Danish. It's not going to kill me. It's totally fine. I'm going to be in a little bit of a surplus. I'm just going to get back on track. It'll be like a little blip on your journey. But the second you blow it out like this, that's how it just becomes unrealistic. And at the same time, too, if you're like, I'm not having this Danish, I'm never having another sweet again, and like that's your favorite thing, that's not realistic either. Like one day you're going to snap, you're going to go off the deep end. So the more you can see the balance, the better you'll be. And it's just the same, like if you really value like having a drink with a friend or something, like log it in there, make it fit in the 80-20, have kind of your cap of what you'll do. Like maybe I'll have a drink and stick to it. Don't let that drink turn into 6 drinks and pizza and all these different things. So the more you can really limit those extremes, you'll notice you have more control to actually manipulate your calories, to become more fit. And just the same as you eat more healthy and you show yourself you have this ability, and when you kind of like remove, like give that freedom to yourself, it makes these things less enticing. When something's off limits, it's like more enticing because you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to have ice cream. It's not part of my diet. And like it'll have more of like appeal to you. Whereas if you're like, I could have it, it's just going to take so much of my calories for the day. Like it's going to kind of mess up my macros. I'm not going to have as much energy for my session tomorrow. That's when it's easier to be like, I don't really want it, or I'm going to have a smaller portion. So rationalizing it and really learning how to like diet for life. And once again, you can remove that word because diet in the name is die. And instead, if you can say, how can I, as a human, have the best nutrition? How can I improve my nutrition protocol and become better with what I eat and really just maximize what my food is doing for me, for my health, for my energy, but still have be something you can really enjoy and have as something to just be exciting to you as well. So the more you can begin that shift and the more you can just be consistent with it, the easier it can be. And obviously we work really hard specifically with each individual, helping them understand their shortcomings and their strengths and helping them obviously learn to do this because it's a constant process and you'll mess up 100 times, but you need to get back on track and get back to your flows and let the sum of your actions be better than the exception.
Honestly, like with this lifestyle and way of eating and like this thought process, I really believe that most people's problems would just end up being solved when you do think of it like for more of a lifestyle, like Josh said, like just eating for the rest of your life, like finding a style that actually works for you, right? And even ever since flexible dieting became kind of popular, I guess maybe 8 or 9, maybe even yeah, probably around 8 or 9 years ago was when it like was first showing that you can have like a fun food and add it in and still hit your macros and still hit your calories. Like it's just been a way of eating. Like the main thing that's changed for myself over the last few years, like it hasn't been any style of eating. It's been more so just like whether I'm in a bulk or a cut, like whether I'm eating more calories or less calories. And then like most foods are healthy. And then there'll be the occasional fun food. And that's to me like so sustainable. Like if you said, hey, Kyle, like what type of eating would work for you for the next 10 years? Like that's it. It's just like counting my macros, eating mostly healthy whole foods, incorporating fun food if I need to or if I want to, and then going from there. Whereas like most people who are struggling, they don't really have an approach. And if they do, it's just like always an up and down thing. It's like, oh, keto just came. I'm going to try that. Oh, fasting. I heard this is the new protocol. Let me try that. Oh, like I heard the guy at the gym has a meal plan. Let me find out what this is all about. And they're just like always trying new things. They're always going up and down. Whereas it's just like a consistent journey of like making good decisions and trying to be better, but also realizing you're not going to be perfect is like the way to sustainably hit your goals and be able to navigate these special events and these specific days. So yeah, that's the last thing I have for the specific question.
Yeah, and additionally as well, like you actually need to really want it. So I think a lot of people kind of want to be fit, but they don't want it enough to like give up going out and getting rowdy on the weekend, or to give up when they're really hungry one day, like having that fast food on the way home, like that extra amount, or having copious, like eating a whole cake. I don't know, whatever it is, like we all have things we like to do that obviously are asymmetrical to what we want to do in our journey. And that's where, when you're committing to especially a fat loss phase, you need to have that goal in higher regard than you do those short-term pleasures. So you really need to have the willpower to say, okay, I enjoyed, I'm doing 80/20. I had that cake. I'm going to cut off there. I'm going to pre-log my food in advance. I'm not going to have that extra portion. And like once you do that and you take it really seriously, it's easier to avoid these blowout days and like to have balance too, because you can still be out and say, hey, I want exceptional results. I need to do things that are the exception in these situations. I'm out of calories. I can't have that. That's totally okay. So like the more you can really restructure just taking it seriously, having a full buy-in, and like not just kind of wanting it, because I think when you kind of want it, it's easy. Like the second temptation comes up to blow up your diet, and then another day you'll be motivated again in a week and you'll try again. And just really wishy-washy. Like if you're going to commit to a diet, you got to commit. There's no like dipping your toes. Like you got to jump in there. And when you do, it's so much more rewarding because you consistently lose the weight loss, like 2 pounds a week. You know, five weeks in, you're 10 pounds down. You're like shredded. Everyone's complimenting you. Everything fits nice. Like that's really appealing. That makes it a lot more fun, right? Where it's a lot harder when you're half in, half out. You've been dieting for 5 weeks and you don't look any different. No one notices. You don't feel good, and maybe you've gone up a pant size. Like that's not the way to operate, right? And a big part of that too is if you're not a really self-accountable person, that's where accountability can really help you thrive. And even like things like this challenge are so good because they're like a little intensive. And we've designed this challenge in a really cool way where it's a month challenge. So it's September. It's all of September. We're running through this challenge, a 4-week challenge, which is going to be amazing. We have criteria you need to hit every single day. And like Kyle said, they're not restrictive criteria. They're not criteria to like take away all the joy in your life and make you miserable. It's just criteria to actually help you be serious about your journey and actually see change, whereas you may have not before. And then we're also doing these little micro challenges, like Kyle said, these weekly challenges, which are going to be really fun, where for 1 week, we're going to take something that you might like and say, we're not going to do it this week. We're going to take it away to help you kind of reevaluate your relationship with it and show yourself, hey, like I have more control than I thought. And it's going to help you kind of clean up some of the edges of your journey to make actually staying on a journey of growth easier. So like this is a perfect time to do it. You also have a one-on-one coach, myself or Kyle, on your side to actually walk you through this challenge, to give you your specific workouts, your specific macros. Like this is a very bespoke challenge. This isn't like some dinky one you can half do. This is one where we will ensure your results and ensure your success. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and accountability is kind of like the final piece of the equation, because it's easier to stick to your stuff and you're like, oh, I got to report to coach tomorrow. I'm not going to blow this out of the water, right? So they always say too, like shame dies in the light. If everyone knows your goals, you're going to feel more serious about actually achieving them, right? You're going to have more commitment to it. Whereas if you don't actually profess it or say it to anyone, you can quit on it and no one will know, right? It's just going to die in the wind essentially. So another thing to consider, and a really good question, and it's always a journey really learning this to balance this, but it really doesn't need to be that hard. And to summarize what we believe in, we believe in flexible dieting. So you can eat any type of food you want. There are no food restrictions, no food is off limit, but we make a goal to hit our macros, which are our protein and our calories, to support our goals of either maintaining, cutting, bulking, whatever it may be, we make sure to hit those macros. We do that with the 80-20 approach. So we aim to have 80% whole, hearty, healthy foods that build us up and still have up to 20% fun foods. Some days might be 80% healthy, 20% healthy, but we're still trying to do that. Some days it might be 100% healthy, but we're just consciously trying to do a better job with our eating. And ultimately, that's what we're working towards. And outside of that, we track all of our food, we track our weights, and we actually make sure that the data we're tracking is supporting us towards our goal, because what gets tracked gets managed, and we can actually gauge if we're improving or going away from our goal. And when you're doing all these things, I can assure you will be improving, and you'll blow yourself away with what you're able to do, especially if you're someone who's struggled to lose fat or have abs or whatever it may be. Doing this and doing this consistently and doing it intelligently makes it so you can't lose. So don't miss out. Join us for our fall challenge. DM us fall challenge for Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. But that was our primary question. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into our quotes, because we like just talking about quotes that inspired us this week, little snippets of wisdom, if you will. So what is your quote, Kyle?
So my quote for this week is, your excuses are just lies you tell yourself. So it's pretty intense. I just have to laugh there because I'm like, ah, man, it's hard to hear, right? Especially when we do potentially just make a bunch of excuses. And I have some like follow-up thoughts and quotes on this. Excuses sound best to those making them. And then also we have a shirt on the back. It says you can have results or excuses, not both. So excuses have been on my mind because with our last powerlifting meet, the mock meet, all I wanted to do was just make excuses. I was like, you know what? That was my first thought, was just like, I lost a bunch of weight. I'm a bit weaker from that. And then like, just like whatever I could come up with, like that was my first thought. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't going to make me any better. Like in reality, like I just kind of started to face, you know what? I could have done better. I could have trained harder. I could have been more consistent, and it was an okay turnout, but I was pretty disappointed by the end of it. I was like very far from my personal records. I went 6 for 9, so I failed on 3 of my lifts. Still deadlifted 485, but like even when I actually reflected, I'm like, these few missed sessions here and there, just like little things that I could have improved on. I'm like, this is how I'm going to get better, is being able to face that and say, you know what? I will be better next time around. I will find a way to improve and to stay consistent and to hit new records, which I'm like really excited about. But once again, like most people will just crutch on excuse and just say, oh, it was the weather today, or it was like, my body's sore, or whatever. Like we can all find something, but they only sound best to those that are making them. And I'm like, there's just no point in trying to like justify and like make myself feel better and whatnot by being like, yeah, yeah, 30 pounds lighter than I was when I was doing my last one. Like none of that stuff matters. So the point is that if you are someone who has a hiccup, or like whatever happens in your journey where you feel like you could do better, just face it, set some new goals, set a new protocol to keep pushing forward, and don't be that person that makes a bunch of excuses. But the thought within that I had here was, yeah, like nothing about an excuse can improve your situation. So I heard that from a motivational video, and I was like, man, that is so true, because like you don't learn from that. You just like you say an excuse and it feels good to you, and then you just keep moving instead of actually facing it. So that's going to be my quote, my thoughts, and hopefully that inspires you in one way or another.
Yeah, I forget the specific day, but I remember like in particular, I was like, wow, no one actually really cares about any excuse I have to make. And it's true. Ultimately, like to us, excuses can be reasons as well. And there can absolutely be factors, but ultimately, most often we reach for excuses to self-justify our failures or our shortcomings or things that weren't done correctly. And even I think the traffic example is such an easy one to follow, where it's easy to say, hey, I'm sorry I was late. The traffic was really bad. And like right away, that feels good to us because we're saying, hey, that's why I was late. It was out of my control. Like it is what it is. And it's not a big deal, of course, right? But like I think for the sake of this analogy, the other person that you were late on is like, well, I was here on time. I made a point to get here on time. And that person, if they really wanted to be there on time, they could check their maps in advance. They could leave a little bit earlier. And there are always radical extremes, where maybe you're absolutely like a crash happened in front of you or something. But most often what I'm getting at is you have the opportunity to take more ownership. And it was funny, even reflecting on the meet, like I was saying to Kyle, how it's even like the little sum, like the little parts of the sum, like it's easy on that meet to be all excited and hoorah and do it. But what's cool about meets or physique competitions or anything is like, the difference maker between first and second in physique competition could be that one day you went off your diet and you went off the deep ends, or a couple of those nights you decided to stay up really late, or one of the days you sold yourself short in the gym and you stopped a few reps shy. Like, it's really cool seeing how all the different parts become that whole. And just the same too, you can start to self-justify and make excuses for yourself, or you can look for opportunities or holes in your game as to where you become better. And I think constantly doing that isn't like you like looking poorly on yourself. And I think it's okay to say, here are some factors and how can I improve on my factors. But the second you just start making excuses for everything, you take absolute control away from yourself. Whereas when you have ownership, like, it gives you the capacity to have control, to make a change, to make meaningful decisions, to actually move forward. So I think that was a really good reflection. And I guess before we get into my quote, yeah, the meet was really fun. We did that, which was great. There's maybe like 18 lifters, I think, which was awesome. And it was a really good time. And it's been quite a while since we've done a powerlifting meet. I was actually talking with one of the judges about some of the different rules and what could be done and couldn't be done. It's even cool seeing what's changed since we've done it last. And it was really fun to get out there. And it's even really just cool seeing how strong people are. I was saying to Kyle, like, it's pretty impressive seeing how beast people are. I also really respected, there was one girl who was out there and she did just the bar for a lot of her lifts, but she was out there, she competed in a powerlifting meet, she did it. And like, the motivation for that's got to be amazing. And I think too, there's such a capacity to only want to do things when you're elite or you're the best or you can win. And especially as someone who really despises losing, such as myself, it can be hard to even be like, I don't even want to do that if I'm not going to be great at it. But I think sometimes it's really just motivating just to get in there and do things that scare you. And it was actually awesome. We had one of my clients, Dave, do it for one of his first meets ever. He absolutely crushed it. He got over the 1,000 pounds officially in a meet, which is just amazing. One of my other clients, Jeremy, absolutely just knocked it out of the park and hit some crazy all-time PRs. He's working hard, so he's really a beast for that. And that was absolutely awesome to see. And then I got to 1475, so just shy of 1,500 pounds. I had to leave like one lift early, but I think I still won at that point. So I was pretty confident leaving. I was in a bit of a time crunch, but I'm very confident I could have got over 1,500. And as we look forward, I definitely would like to see like a 1,600 total. And if you're like, what the heck is he talking about? What does that mean? That's when you add up your top lift for your bench, your squat, and your deadlift. And when you add up the three where you're at, generally there's a lot of like, people consider you a beast if you're in the 1,000 pound club. If your bench, your squat, and your deadlift equals 1,000 pounds. And it's a hard marker. Obviously it's easier if you're a heavier, bigger man. It's tougher if you're like a 100 pound girl, but I can assure you girls get pretty darn close, if not above. There's beasts of all different shapes and sizes out there, which is amazing. And if you're interested in strength training in general, like, it's a really fun way to make the gym more exciting and more novel and to really test your own capacity. And that's what I like about powerlifting. It's like you versus you, and you don't have to worry about other people as much. And I was even just thinking how I always like dislike team sports a lot more than I did individual sports. And I think that's why I really skateboarded, because like, if I sucked, it's just me sucking. Like, I have total control over it. It is hard, obviously, when other people are involved, but that's what's really cool about powerlifting too, is like, you truly can take total ownership of it. Like, it's fully up to you to prep for that, to train hard, to show up on that day, to be elite. Like, just such a cool little conception. So that was a little bit of an early jump into my thoughts, but I'll go ahead and share my quote as well. And that is, you thought it was going to be easy to be the best. You got to go through the tests. And I actually think this is a good a quote for Kyle, because I think Kyle, even he said he was resting on his laurels. He knows he's a strong guy. He's like, I'll flick the switch and I'll be able to get in there and beat this guy he was competing with, right? And but reality is, there are tests. Like, the day you don't want to do a lift, you got to do it anyways. The day like you don't want to have the healthy meal, you do it. The day you don't want to train super hard, like, it's good motivation. Even for me, like, nothing has ever come easy. Like, as much as you'd like to think it will, like, there's days just where everything's hard and everything sucks. And once again, you can even simulate more challenge. Like, even today I was pretty sore. We played volleyball, I did heavy deadlifts, and I'm like, for fun, I'll just do no pre-workout today for my workout. And I still had a really good workout. And like, you can callous your mind by injecting little bits of struggle and challenge to show yourself that you're capable. Cold showers, doing an extra set, going on an extra walk, like eating an extra healthy meal. Like, there's just, it's funny the little things you can do there. But if you do want to be the best, like, it won't be easy. And I think people just assume that they're going to cut out some of the excess in their diet and they're going to have abs overnight. But like, abs is a really difficult thing to get because you need to be quite lean, right? And to be quite lean, you can't be in a surplus, which means there isn't a lot of room for tomfoolery in your diet. Like you need to be pretty dialed in. And even with flexible dieting, you need to be more intelligent with what you decide. So once again, like even if you think it's going to be easy, ask yourself what could go wrong, what are some challenges, try and get in front of them and understand there will be tests day in, day out. I feel like I'm tested even in my fitness, and especially with this powerlifting example, like leading up to it, like there's just copious amounts of times I didn't want to squat heavy. I was like, oh, I could just do a lighter weight, I'll do less volume. And like the second you kind of buy into that, like you're like, I'll take a shortcut here, 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 shows up on that day. So I think that's where I love competing because it's you really can see all your hard work tie into one day, which is really nice. And if there was ever something I'd recommend everyone try, it's a powerlifting competition because like I said, even if you're not super strong, it's really supportive. It's you versus you ultimately. Like, of course, you can compete with the people in your class, but most generally, everyone just wants to hit some big lifts out there. So, a lot of different thoughts and a quote there. I'll pass it back to Kyle.
Yeah, it's just so motivating too, right? Having something to work for. Like, we're gonna get into this afterwards, but I feel like so many people are kind of lost in the gym, right? Just like going from machine to machine. But when you know like everything you do will get you ready for that specific day, it is so motivating. But I like what Josh said. It feels like that quote was directly for me because I said to him, like one of our friends, shout out to Jeremy, he beat me by 10 pounds. And typically I will beat him, even if I'm not like working crazy hard. But I said, I'm happy I lost because, like, in a weird way, I'm like, this tells me like I have to show up. Like, I can't just like, squat a few weeks and be like, oh, I'll squat for mid 400s. Like, I have to put in that work. I have to do that extra step. Like, now, next time around for our fall competition that we're going to be doing in a couple months, it's like, I've got to dial in. So like now I have the next few months of like stuff to look forward to, of like workouts I can't miss, of nutrition I need to hit. And this is what's going to help me stay accountable is like that obviously loss, but then just like that motivation of like being better and hitting new numbers and new highs. So motivating. If you can't tell from our voices, like we love this stuff. And I really encourage you, like Josh said, to like have something to look forward to. Like it could be a photo shoot, it could be a powerlifting meet, it could be a competition with friends, all that great stuff. But the one thing on the top of my mind on top of all this was like asking yourself, do you actually want change? So what got me thinking about this was recently a buddy was saying it was kind of hard for him to work at home, like with his newborn. And I was like, oh, I totally get it. Go to a coffee shop. I like doing that. It's what works for me. And you can kind of see he was like, I don't know about that. And like coming up with a bunch of different reasons and things that like why that wouldn't work out. And I like my double monitor. And I was like, okay, it doesn't matter then, right? So I thought about the fitness journey and how many times people will struggle with something and they'll just like immediately deflect it, right? So someone will say, I'm struggling with weight loss. I'd be like, okay, track your calories for a couple weeks or even 1 week and let's see what the intake is. And then immediately like light bulbs go off and let's talk excuses because that's what I was sharing before. They'll have all these reasons. Oh, I'm not going to have Wi-Fi for a day. And like, it's going to be too hard for me. And like, I'm already on my phone too much. There's always going to be something. So the point is, if you are ever someone that complains about something or like you're struggling with something, just try to keep an open mind. I know last Thursday when we talked about that, one of our biggest tips was like what holds people back is just like being closed minded. But I see it happen so often. Like someone will say, oh, I'm getting to bed super late. I'm having low quality sleep. It's like, all right, get to bed earlier. And then boom, they're just like, they think of all these things that they can complain about and just like not actually want change. So just a reminder, don't be that person. It's never a good look. Like, yeah, I see it happen a lot. So I just had to share that today.
So well said. Yeah. And if you can look for reasons not to, as I always say, you can look for reasons why you can. And constantly, I love the examples of like, even just seeing people with active disabilities in the gym crushing it, right? Like people in wheelchairs, like hopping out to the Smith machine benching, like stuff like that's crazy, right? And it really humbles you because it makes me seem like all of our little reasons, our excuses are just so lame when you see some of the mountains other people come over. So once again, it's just changing that mindset. And a lot of it really does come down to mindset. But we're going to go ahead and transition to our client shout out. This is someone who's struggling, just someone who's crushing it now. So who do we got this week?
Yeah, so this week we have Chris, and he has completely changed his body composition. If you can see on YouTube or head over to our Instagram every Monday, we'll post the transformation with some tips and a testimonial video. But his composition's completely changed. And even when I shared this with him, he was like, man, this is crazy. It's only a 10-pound difference. I was like, yeah, like that's the beauty of a body recomposition. So essentially, we went through a couple different phases, right? We had the shred phase, we had the sculpt phase, and then we had kind of like the rebuild phase where he's putting on muscle like after losing a bunch of fat. And he just looks like two completely different people. And it's amazing to see when a process like this really comes together. And that's where I think so many people struggle is they'll just like diet for the rest of their life, or like they won't do a proper cut or even like a proper reverse diet. And this is where you kind of end up with a physique where you just haven't actually seen too much progress. You're always like flip-flopping from one thing to another, never staying consistent with a specific goal. And yeah, I mean, Chris is a testament to this exact body composition. And it's so possible. Like you just have to have the right game plan and even like the right numbers. Because if you're just like constantly winging it and trying a bunch of stuff, like body recomps are one of the hardest things to do when you are doing it by yourself, because you're just there's struggles. It's like, do I increase my calories? Or like you see the scale go up a little bit one day and you're like just trying to decrease the numbers, and you kind of get emotional. And that's why we say you'll get way better results having someone by your side who's unemotionally attached. And now's a great time to jump on board with our fall challenge, because we'll be able to support you for 30 days and beyond and actually hold you accountable to fully change your entire physique and how you feel. So amazing job, Chris. And he's just getting started. So super proud of him.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris. And what's amazing is we actually met him through a mutual friend in Miami, which was cool. We were at a dinner on a night out, and he wanted to reach out about coaching, getting started. And initially, he had a lot of objections because he's a business owner. He travels quite frequently. He has a busy life, and there's a lot going on. And there's like so many things in the way of that. And it's just been amazing seeing him navigate this through travel, through having to go to different gyms, being in different countries, growing his business, having a successful business, and navigating social life, networking, all of these different things well in a program. And that ultimately is like the tenet of our coaching program, is for it to be sustainable no matter who you are. If you're a mom at home with 6 kids, if you're you're another mom who's out and you're working and traveling the world while you work and raising a family, like no matter what, there needs to be a solution. There's a solution for every individual. You just need to craft out exactly what that is for you. And that's what we work with for you hand in hand, alongside giving you the best resources, custom routines, custom nutrition to really help you thrive in your situation so you can actually see progress, which I truly believe you deserve. Because if you're putting in work, you should be seeing progress, and you deserve to see that progress. And like I said, 2 weeks out, there's never been a better time. Do not miss out on this fall challenge. It's a great time to get started. It's also extra motivation. The challenge is a plus. And a bonus too, we're going to coach you leading into the challenge to get you set up, coach you through the challenge, and coach you after the challenge. So don't miss out on this. Message us or Instagram fall challenge at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. And big shout out to Chris. But now we're going to jump back into the mailbag for the second question. And that is, I've been lifting for a few years now, and I find myself getting bored. Any tips or strategies to help me avoid being burnt out?
Yeah, this thing is like kind of hitting me hard here, because I've had moments where I have felt burnt out. I've had moments where I haven't enjoyed the process, and it'll happen to some people, right? Especially the longer that you go through this. And it was funny because on the way here, I was listening to a podcast and, or sorry, like a motivational video, and he said there's 4 words that will change your life. I do it anyways, and I thought this was just so applicable, because there are so many times where it's like you may not look forward to it. There's times where you may not want to eat the healthiest or show up to the gym or do that cardio session. But just like the first thing I have to talk about is just having that mindset, like I still get it done. Like whether I'm feeling great, not so great, like whatever it is, like this is the greatest thing you can do, even if you're not super pumped up for it. So like that's going to be my initial response. But I will say, like, having different approaches where you have something to look forward to. And like, it's so fitting that we're talking about this today, because we had mentioned like the little mock powerlifting meet. We've already talked about it, but like, just have something to look forward to. I'm telling you right now, the 10 plus years I've been in the gym, like 12 or so years, like the times I'm least motivated, the times I'm looking forward to it the least. Obviously, you guys know I am competitive, but it's just so exciting having something, like, even if it's a friendly bet, if it's like a competition with a friend, if it's just some sort of thing that you have, like that you're looking forward to, it makes the journey so much easier. Like never feel burnt out when I'm working towards that thing, and like that alone will make such a big difference. And my last piece of advice here is thinking long term. Like, why am I showing up for myself, and trying to like realize how much of an impact it has. Like whether you have young kids, if you think, hey, I'm going to be here an extra few years, that could just solve everything for you, right? Every time you show up, every time you do that session, you think, hey, I'm going to be here longer. I'm going to be able to play with them longer. I'm going to be stronger for them. And you like find that deeper why. I really feel like it can help you like avoiding that burnout because like now your purpose is deeper than just like, oh, I've got to go to the gym and it's going to be hard and I'm going to hate it. Like you have something that will push you. So that's going to be my biggest few little tips. And I'm sure Josh has quite a few other things as well.
Yeah, my biggest tip I think would just be taking it seriously. Even lately, I've just been enjoying like watching different people at the gym, and I'd like there's some people I know that have gone there for a long time that have looked the same or look worse, and there's other people that beast it out, and it's just so interesting seeing even just people that kind of just running through every machine. I'll see people finish sets, like go right to their Instagram and just start scrolling, and like there's a big difference. Even there's one girl in the gym I noticed who's like seeing pretty good progress and like she'll finish her set, just never on her phone, just focused, doing a heavy set next set. Like anytime you start to take it more seriously and you're working towards your goal, it's way more fun training because you take every little component of it super seriously. Like I'm trying to optimize my form here, I'm trying to get stronger here, trying to work towards this lift. And like when you do that, that's the best. I distinctly remember there was a tiny little period of time, like 3 to 6 months, where I maybe even less, where I really just wasn't liking training. And it's because me and Kyle like were making excuses. We were training at like Pickering, I don't know, and we were lifting a little shorter, it's like 45 minutes. We're kind of going through it. We were self-justifying. I don't even remember why this was, but I just distinctly remember like, and I kept trying to like cut myself short. I'd be like, I'm gonna do a little bit less. I'm not gonna do compounds. I'm not gonna do this hard thing. I don't need to do legs this week. I'm playing sports. And like I just remember I it really like it still gives me a weird feeling because it just didn't feel good. Whereas now I find the more I lean into discomfort, the more I challenge myself, the more like I'm constantly working to like try to up my weights. I'm on a routine that's custom built for me that I know is designed to actually help me improve my physique and challenge me. Like I've liked it more and more. And like I always find ways to really make it fun. And even with our buddy that Kyle was competing with, he really just loved the process. Like he really got excited at the thought of this meet and building strength, and every day was an opportunity to work towards that process. So it's just a lot more exciting, I'm telling you now, when you take it seriously. Like anytime I'm in there just to get it done, those are the worst workouts because you're like half on your phone, just doing light weights, you're not actually feeling challenged. Whereas like when you're in there and every set's hard, you're working and it tanks you out and it's like you're feeling it and you're like, oh, you're pushed, you're sweating. Like, and I think that's where people really like personal training because it kind of forces you to simulate that, especially when someone's newer to it. Like when you start that relationship, like even as a trainer, like it was almost our responsibility to beat that person up. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've never trained like this. I didn't even know this was a thing. And like didn't know I could flip a tire. I didn't know I could actually do a barbell bench. Like so people get excited, and then obviously that saturates as people get comfortable and it becomes a little more conversational. But I think keeping that edge, keeping that challenge, and most importantly, like keeping that intensity. Like don't just go in there with no game plan. Don't bop around from machine to machine. Don't be on your phone for half the workout, being half distracted. Like I find really being present, and like anytime I train harder, I'm more dialed, I'm more excited. Like I just like it way more and more. And like I just find I'm more excited for it. So, and a big part of that too is actually, like Kyle said, having a goal you're working towards. And when you know you're doing actionable steps to achieving your goal and getting to the destination you want to get, that's when it's the most exciting. And when you see results, it's really addicting. Like when you see yourself changing and your shoulders getting wider and more strong and your waist is getting tighter and people are complimenting you and you're lifting more weight than you've ever felt and you just feel like stronger when you get out of bed every day. Like those are just super motivating factors and it really makes it fun. And strength is a big component of that people overlook. And actually challenging themselves is probably the biggest thing.
Thing I've got to add here because like the question was like, how do you avoid burnout in the gym? And it's funny because you guys notice we weren't talking about more rest days, we weren't talking about more weeks and months off, like none of that stuff. It's being more intentional, it's being more excited about your goals, it's about showing up when you don't want to. Because oftentimes when people talk about burnout, they think like, oh, I need to do more stretching, do more recovery, more of the recovery area, do more days off, more weeks off. But I'm telling you, that is not the case. You're just going to feel less motivated because you're taking more time off and because you're not striving for something, right? And even when it comes to like burnout day to day, like it's easy to think, oh, I need to sleep in more and I need to like just take more time to do nothing. But it's like you need to do more stuff that actually inspires you. So I think that's so powerful. And that's the thing that like a lot of people will make that mistake on, is thinking that they need like more rest. And don't get me wrong, like we take rest days. Like there's 2 days off from the gym, still an active rest day. 100% like there, it makes sense. It's good to get a massage. It's good to do that stuff, but that's not going to be the solution to avoiding burnout. It's finding that thing that's exciting and showing up for yourself consistently day after day.
Yeah, most people, I think, like, even today, I noticed like our gym got this recovery area and everyone rushes to the recovery. We have another friend who will always cut his workout short because he needs to sauna. Like it's just it's a dangerous mentality. And even Kobe talked about it, like that attitude of I'll do one less, I'll make it up tomorrow. I'm tired, I'm sore. Like Kyle said, you kind of just need to do it anyways. And it sounds like really grueling and tough, but just the same, you can actually take your recovery super serious. Like if you're beat up or you're sore or whatever, like stretch it out at night, take an extra time to do some sauna, get massage, do whatever recovery you want to do, get to bed on time. Like actively do that separate. Don't let that impede on your workout time. Because the second you just start like getting comfortable, doing less and less and cutting corners, like you're just gonna keep playing that game. And it's not necessarily a good game. And if like I didn't even take the question in that sense because like I don't even think I know anyone who would be really capable of overtraining at this point, which is pretty crazy. And I'm like a fitness coach. Well, maybe some of my clients, I got a lot of beasts, obviously. So this is outside people in the program, but for them, I actively do things. But most people don't actually really train hard enough to burn themselves out. Or even it was funny, like, yeah, everyone's doing like these recovery pants and all these crazy things. And like, meanwhile, people are doing like a class or two a week, which is pretty funny, and just like eating whatever, not sleeping well. Like you'll recover way better if you just tidy up your lifestyle more than anything else. Like it really doesn't need to be that complex. But if you are actively training hard and like you're actually burning out, like especially in like the theme of powerlifting or whatnot, deload weeks are an absolute powerful tool. I'm just tentative to talk about this stuff because people just be like, I'm sore. I think I need a deload week. I'm going to take the week off the gym. And like they'll use it to self-justify their excuses. Like when you do train hard, deload weeks are necessary and they absolutely have their place. And I utilize them myself usually every 8 to 12 weeks. You can use them, I'd say, every 4 to 12 weeks for most people. But realistically, like if you're stopping like 6 reps short of your capability every workout, like you're doing like more functional muscular cardio at that point, you wouldn't really have the level of fatigue that would need a deload week. And instead you could have an unload week where maybe it's a really busy week or you're traveling and you don't work out as much. But once again, you want to get to that point where you actually train hard enough. It's hard to like flick a switch and get there. With coaching, what's nice, I'll design a routine to really push that person. I'll get form checks, I'll know their weights, and I can really progressively help them see what they're capable of. And they send me a video and I'm like, you could do 10 more. Like send me another one, use this weight and tell me how that feels. Like it's amazing seeing that light kind of flip in their head. And even in the past, like when people would work out with me and Kyle, they'd be like, oh dang, like this is what it's like when I really go through a hard workout with intention, like you kind of understand, you earn that feeling of what it's like to grind. But if you're just kind of like casually going through things, you really shouldn't be burnt out. But I'd argue you'd be more burnt out. Like even that time we had that weird period, I felt more burnt out because like it wasn't challenging to me. Like it wasn't even rewarding. It'd be like me playing chess against my 3-year-old son. Like it wouldn't have any actual challenge towards it. It just wouldn't feel like it was worth my time. Obviously I'd happily like play with him, but for the sake of the analogy, like you could see how that wouldn't stimulate me. Like you actually need a bit of challenge. It seems counterintuitive, but the more you push it, the more you'll be enticed to actually like really keep doing it and growing. But yeah, awesome question. And there you have it. Any follow-up questions, we're always happy to answer. You can ask questions on our Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. Additionally, you can go to our website, colossusfitness.com. We have a section there where you can submit one if you don't have Instagram. So that's another option as well. All of this is on the show notes, so be sure to grab it. You can also see the new shirts on video right now. I'm wearing the new maroon. We got the Colossus logo on the front. On the back, it says no challenge too great, which I love and I stand by. And if you complete this challenge, you earn it. And then Kyle has the slate color, which I think is absolutely amazing, as you can see here on the screen, which is so sweet. So I'd love for you to be able to pick the shirt you want by completing the challenge and earn it and wear it alongside your comrades here of the amazing Colossus community who step up and push themselves. We're going to get into our last question of the day, and that is, what are your thoughts on cheat days? I eat super clean during the week and have one day, usually Sundays, where I eat whatever I want.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, you guys probably already know from our flexible dieting talk earlier. Not a fan, honestly. Like, this just, if you need a cheat day, then your diet is just, it's not right. Your way of eating, like, you shouldn't need a specific day. And as we were talking about with the 80-20 principle or 90-10, like, you should be able to fit in a fun food. And the truth is, when it comes down to cheat days, that can just fully take out your entire week's worth of progress. Like, people don't realize it, but if you're eating, let's say, 2,300 calories every day, that kind of brings you into a nice little deficit. You're losing some weight, you're doing great. That extra day could easily go up to 7,000 calories. Like, some people may say, "Oh, I can never eat that much." Trust me, if you have enough of the wrong stuff, essentially, like you have a blizzard from Dairy Queen, 1,100 calories, you have some burgers, you have fries, you have pizza, and you do what most people would do on a cheat day, your results are going to go out the window. So, like I said, if you're needing one of these, then it's probably not the right way of eating, and you should probably stick to some flexible dieting and you'll get better results.
Yeah, the theory of it sounds really appealing. And I know even like Tim Ferriss was really big on the concept of like be in a strict deficit 6 days, one day get it all out of your system. And like it makes sense, like logically. I just think people really underplay how much damage can be in that day. Like I would challenge anyone who wants to have this mindset, like tell your significant other, if you have one, say like, hey, we're gonna be strict with our finances, don't do anything crazy. And on the seventh day, you can buy whatever you want. There's not a chance anyone would give you that offer. People would be buying bags and cars and new homes and like you could literally financially like just destroy yourself in a day. And obviously you can only eat so much, but I think people really underplay how much they can eat and how much damage can be done. Like you can absolutely blow out a 6 day deficit in a single day. And I can speak from experience. Like we've done a 15,000 calorie challenge. Like consider that. Like numerically that's a significant deficit, that's a significant amount of pounds, right? Obviously it doesn't always net out that way with digestion, thermogenics and all that stuff, but my point is, especially if you're someone who likes food, like it's just not good. And it's this weird too, like you're super restrictive and super excessive, like there's no balance towards that. And like that hot and cold all or nothing is just, it's the worst mindset. I work really hard to massage that out of my clients and to kind of show them like, hey, you can have some balance. If there's a day you go 500 over intentionally for a reason, it's better to leave it there, enjoy yourself. And you don't feel good. No one will tell you. And like, I think one of the biggest transitions I've had is I've understood as I've gotten a little bit older, I'm still only 29, but I don't feel good when I overeat. Like if you feel nice while you're eating, it feels good. And then after you feel bloated beyond belief, your digestion's all a mess. Like you feel greasy and you're like, why did I do that? Like it does not feel good being stuffed. Instead, like being full is a nice feeling. Being nice, satiated, full. To that reason, I've really learned like more isn't always better. And that's where like having a bit of balance and like I'll love here and there to like have a reasonable amount of chips or for Kyle to have an ice cream, but no one's going to tell you like eating a tub of ice cream is good. And even like with me with having children, like my toddler want to do that. And I stop him from doing that because I know like, yes, it tastes good and he wants to, but it's going to make him sick. Right. So like, I think just the same, if you're like, I'm doing this cheat meal, you're just going to be making yourself feel sick and gross and you're going to be lethargic and you're going to mess up your digestion. And then it's going to be your hunger signaling is going to be all whack when you get back to the deficit. You're going to be starving. Like you're just making yourself suffer for no reason. Whereas like you can work in these foods and you can have these fun things and balance is good too. Like I like having a really healthy breakfast and lunch and then having a fun dinner or having a really awesome traditional pancake breakfast and then maybe tightening it up the rest of the day. So as you can see, if you've made it through this episode, like there's absolutely a way to like have more balance and reason in your life. And honestly, too much of anything, even a good thing, is bad. So changing that mindset is absolutely everything. So once again, fall challenge, 2 weeks, balls in your court. You deserve to be fit. I guarantee you, I literally guarantee you your money back. I will get you there. It's going to be a really fun challenge. I really look forward to you rocking these shirts alongside Nate being one of our grand prize winners. So to get started with that, just message us on Instagram, fall challenge at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. And if you have any questions about the challenge as well, please feel free to message me there and I'd be happy to let you know and answer any questions you have whatsoever. So thanks for tuning in today. Peace out.